And we can agree to disagree. If you want your chat to do that, then fine. I hated doing that. I hated school. I dropped out like Destiny.
I feel like a lot of these courses and a lot of these things would make more sense if they taught people that it wasn't just the internet that you're making money out of, but like actual practical ways somebody could jump into, you know? Like what is so practical about making money on the internet? Like how are you gonna, like, you have to have like a high what should I say? Like what is the rate of like people that succeed? Destiny, I'm sure you have like the definition for it, but like the people that like succeed, you have to have like a good throughput rate, I guess, is what the best thing is, right? Like how many people in your course succeed out of like 100 versus college, right? People are going to pick, you know, which one is a safe option. College and university aren't easy either. If you're going for a STEM degree, if you're going for anything that's licensed, for instance, that's a fucking big ass commitment. People go to law school and they spend like fucking how many years getting to that position, and then they fucking succeed at the end, hopefully, right? At least like that's the general perception of it. Same with doctors, same with like engineers or anybody in that position. You know, it's like how many people in your situation succeed? How many Musas are there versus Musas that go to like MIT or like University of Toronto or like a big, you know,
Cycles like this. Most people will fail because they will give up and they will go back to the safe route as soon as it becomes difficult. A lot of people don't have the opportunity to really fully dive into that. It's difficult. I mean, I was able to do it because I've been focusing on it since I was 14. I saw from the beginning, from a young age, that I did not want to be a wage slave. I did not want to be part of a cognitive system, and so I worked hard. But that's what separates the people, the winners from the losers, is just working hard. Most people are not able to do it. Destiny's encouraging complacency, and I'm encouraging ambition.
You gotta stop saying complacency. Hold on. I just want to be clear. Also, you gotta. The words that you're using are so mind rotted. You're like such a bot when you say that. That like a guy can follow a set path in life and be really successful. You can have a good diet, get good sleep, have a lot of friends, work out, have a good body, go to college, get a good degree, have a good paying job with good benefits, go on vacation, and you're like, you're so complacent. There's nothing complacent about that. That's a successful person by literally every single metric. Like, I would argue that a lot of the people that chase the online shit are more complacent than the people that have like the dedication to follow through with school and get a real job, rather than the people that are working their side hustle, which is really a job at Burger King or Wendy's, and then they're online trying to get rich, like trading coins. Like, that's complacency. You're too scared to actually take steps and do the real work in the real world to actually improve yourself and put yourself in a position to get a good job, and instead you're hoping to get rich quick online.
How is that complacent? Like, why do you need to go be involved in your idea of the real world? Your idea of maturity and being adult is just being a part of the system that's...
It's actually doing... Well, you say like being a part of... Like, a doctor is a part of the system. A lawyer is a part of the system. An engineer is a part of the system. Like, these are important people that do important things that make it possible for you and me to do our jobs. But I'm only able to do what I'm able to do because enough people went to school to work on fucking Amazon servers, right? Amazon only exists because college-educated Jeff Bezos started the company and had people that were willing to ship products, like people that were willing to drive UPS trucks, people that were willing to do customer support. Like, these are all real-life people that you call them cogs.
What's the most coveted job? What's the most coveted job in America for kids?
YouTuber?
Yep.
Yeah, and 20 years ago it was an NBA player. Like, what's the point?
What did you want to do before you went to school? You wanted to be a saxophone player. People don't want to be UPS drivers. People don't want to be garbage men. People don't want to do that. People don't want to be carpet cleaners. You do that because you have no other option, because you take the safe route. So you're saying it's brain rotted. That's complacency. You gave up. People's dreams is to be a YouTuber, is to be independent.
Okay, bro, how many people can be Hollywood actors? How many people can be an actor?
All of them.
Not many. Well, but so that's why I'm saying complacency. And Destiny can't argue that point. Are you or are you not encouraging complacency?
It's not. It's only complacency to you, because to you anything less than being a superstar is a failure, because you don't know what life looks like to a normal person. You have no perspective whatsoever. Like, for you, the only thing that it means to succeed is to have 1 million YouTube followers and everybody else sucks compared to you. Like, that's your view on life.
No, it's being independent and not answering to nobody.
Bro, neither of us are independent. Dude, you're literally sucking off fucking Islam over here because you're worried about getting canceled by a bunch of Muslims online. None of us are fucking independent. Like, all of us are slaves to some shit. We're all part of the Matrix, bro. If you want to talk to me about some independent shit, I want you to go out back and show me a picture of the fucking vegetable garden that you've got growing that you're cultivating on your own so you can survive on your own when the apocalypse happens. Otherwise, we're all fucking plugged into the system.
There's levels to how much you can be plugged into the system, and you're encouraging a bigger level than me. If my level is not wanting to get killed by a guy named Ahmed, then fine.
Sure, I'll say
I'm
this.
complacent.
When I worked at my fucking casino job, I sure as fuck never worried about what the fuck I tweeted or what I said in a video game. Bro, I could say some wild shit, man. If my logs ever got leaked, dude, my entire fucking family would get assassinated for the crazy shit that I said online in battle.net. This was when before nobody got banned for slurs or anything back then. Bro, you could fucking type people's phone numbers in chat, tell them you're gonna come fucking murder their dogs, and nobody gave a fuck back then on the internet. Like, it was a wild world. I didn't give a fuck back then because I didn't care. I gotta worry way more about the shit that I say and the shit that I type. So in some ways, I have a lot of freedom. I'm not gonna go back to that life, obviously, but in other ways, I'm way more locked down. I gotta worry about other shit that normal people don't have to worry about. Like, we're all part of the system in one way or another.
Yeah, you
Yes,
can't
but I'm
just
telling you
leave the
how much you're
matrix.
plugged into it and how much you're not. Me having this creativity kit and me having most of my money come from Patreon or come from super chats is being out of it. Or eventually, like, if I do get banned, going to a platform that I start or that's independent is me out of that and me not having to answer to anybody. Like, yes, we do answer to some people, but there's levels. Having like an angry Karen that you answer to every day is way worse than doing what we do. And trying to compare the two.
But
is
like,
stupid.
aren't you like tied down into YouTube and Patreon in some way? Like, if what those things went away, what would you do tomorrow?
Well, that's why I'm saying that you need to have capital, and then you need to invest in other places that you can be fully independent. And then eventually I'm just going to be on YouTube for fun, and I don't need to worry about, you know, words that are like what I can say about the election or what I could say about the injection.
I think there's pros and cons to everything, and it's hard to see it all, I think, in my opinion. But
I think you're dodging the fact that you are
I'm not
encouraging
stop
complacency.
saying, bro. Stop saying I'm dodgy because you're too dumb to understand what the fuck I'm saying. It is actually you're actually triggering the fuck out of me. You got me. You triggered the fuck out of me. You did do it, okay? It's not about dodging. It's about being an adult and taking responsibility and growing past the age of 24 and realizing not everybody can be a millionaire on doing some online shit. That's a fantasy that a kid has. That's when you're 14 and everybody's saying, what do you want to do when you grow up? And you say, I want to play in the NFL. At some point you grow up and you're like, okay, I need to actually be an adult and I need to figure out like, wow, I'm going to navigate life. It's not about giving up. It's about accepting the responsibilities of being an adult and saying like, okay, well, I need to find an acceptable path forward that I can carve that makes place for me, my hobbies, and what I want to do, and also provides a living, and probably provides some service to a society that isn't scamming people online, selling them cheap Chinese fucking silverware in order to make money.
Crypto, bro. You keep putting words in my mouth. The reason that you're dumb is that you think maturity and adulthood is giving up on your dreams.
Okay.
No,
That's your
I'm
idea
back.
of
Okay.
adulthood.
True.
Every time you talk to me about maturity and about being adult, and every time you call someone else childish, is it because they're not being a slave. Someone who's not being a slave, and it triggers you. The fact that I get you so upset and you bring me in the stream because I'm a young man full of ambition, and people are getting
Okay, bro.
encouraged
So
by
hold
this.
on. If
In your
somebody who
stream,
gets a
you want
job,
people to go give up.
You're not talking
people
about
to be part of it.
ambition. The problem is you're
Your
not talking.
idea of maturity is just giving up on your
No,
dreams.
you're not talking about ambition. You're the 2020s version of Amway. It's not. That's not ambition. It's get rich quick schemes. That's what you're talking
Okay.
about. Ambition is the kid that's 16 that already
Not what
like
I
knows
said.
like 3 different programming languages. Ambition is the guy that's like 17 or 18 that can already build a whole fucking engine in a
editor.
car.
You're
Ambition
asking me
is
to
a
give you an
guy
example
that's
of
at
somebody-
19 or 20 is already like the VP of his dad's fucking company. This is what ambition looks like. Being 24, working at Burger King, and then going on and checking your Robinhood app to see if you got rich on some penny stock you got
God,
recommended
bro,
by Andrew Tate.
I'm
That's
a
not
crypto guy.
ambition. That's not
I am
ambition.
Not a crypto guy, bro. Why are you
Robinhood
acting like
could
I'm the
just be
crypto
standard
dude?
stock.
That's such a dumb
Robinhood
argument.
could just be stocks as well. That's not.
Yeah.
crypto.
Robert
You
could
keep
be-
talking about me like I'm advocating for the big crypto guy. When you ask me an example of an entrepreneur who makes money, I talked about my editor who makes money off consultation calls because he studied the algorithm and because he's networked with the right people and he provided value by learning how to edit. He found a skill, reinvest in other places, and then you keep talking about crypto. Bro, that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. The creativity kit is about learning a skill, becoming valuable, and then investing in other places. Not working at Burger
I
King.
agree, but what you're talking about,
If
that
you
guy,
wanna
that
give up,
editor
give
guy,
up.
he didn't learn how to edit because he took an online course on it. He learned how to edit because he did it. He
You know
worked
how I
that
learned
job.
how to edit? You know how I learned how to edit? YouTube tutorials.
Yeah. When did you start? When you were fucking 13. That's
Okay,
the point.
So you learned how to
give up, so don't.
edit on YouTube tutorials. Do you consider yourself an actual editor that could work in a like professional location? Like
Yeah, I know
actual
that if I
post-production
ever get canceled or if I that's
Okay, how many
I learned a skill,
programs
I can work
do
for
you know?
anybody.
No, I know about post production.
I know how to use Avid. I know how to use Final Cut
Okay,
Pro. I know how to
Avid
use
Media
Premiere.
Composer. Do you know how to work with DaVinci? Do you know the entire
DaVinci,
Avid
Avid,
Dude, 100%.
Photoshop, all
Sneako,
of them.
So let
I
me-
know he could get a job. He could get a job editing for sure. 100%.
He could get a job editing, but it's like the entire.
Yeah, you're
like,
saying that I learned.
structure
I
of it,
was
too.
Destiny. I was shit at editing for 7 years. I learned how to edit in a month. from YouTube tutorials in college. I wasn't.
You
good at
didn't
editing.
learn how to
Like
hold on.
I
Stop.
was shit
You
at
didn't
editing
learn
for
how to.
7 years on my
You
main
didn't
channel.
learn how to edit from a fucking YouTube tutorial.
Yeah,
you
I did.
learned how to edit because you edited. That's the only way that
Because
you
you
learn
were
skills like that. You
learning
had to
every day
work
doing
at it.
it.
Yeah, this is why I'm saying people that know how to do things don't know how the fuck to teach them. The fact that you would even say that, you learned some shit in a month, you didn't learn how to in a month. You probably began learning in a month on YouTube, but you learned it over the course of your entire life. That's a life. That's your whole teenage years spent actually editing videos on YouTube. That's how you got the skill, my dude. Nobody's gonna learn in a month how to do it.
Watching YouTube tutorials and then grinding every single day.
Yes.
Working on my own.
But see,
videos.
that's the thing. Grinding
For 7
every
years,
single day.
you're acting like
Premiere,
I don't like
working
this.
on it
Hold on,
every
I don't
day.
like this point that you keep making that I have an advantage because I was doing it since I was a kid. When I wasn't good at it and I hated it for most of the time, and then I decided I need to find a skill that makes me different from other people. If I cannot invest all this money into different places like Mr. Beast and buy all these Orbeez and buy trucks and Lego cars, then I need to become the best at editing. So I grinded at it for a month while I was in school. I learned more in that time, focusing up, watching a YouTube tutorial, copying what he said. In the
how much of that
and I did
time
it
was
for
watching the
in school.
YouTube tutorial? How much of the time was watching the YouTube tutorial versus actually sitting in front with Premiere on and working on a project or two? It's like learning programming, right? Like you could.
What's the point? So yeah, that's what I'm telling people to
but
do.
like you could,
Part of the
you
creativity
could,
kit is teaching mindset that you need to work hard and go do it too. So if we agree that you need to go work and do it, why are you telling people to give up? We both agree you need to work hard, and all the information is online.
No one is saying you need to
give
give up.
up.
If somebody wants to work at something like that, that's great. But just don't expect to get rich quick doing it. It's going to be a lot of. You're not going to become a good.
When do I say get rich quick? When do I ever say that? Why are you applying that to me as if that's my fucking ideology?
Okay.
I've never said that.
Here's a question: if somebody wants to learn to be a YouTube editor, how long would it take them to be good enough to make some decent money doing it?
A month of hard work.
Okay, I would say 6 to 12 minimum. That'd be my guess.
Yeah.
I don't know how you
Why
think
don't
that.
you tell people to do that?
I
Why
do.
don't you
If
tell
people want to build other skills and shit, that's fine. That's good. But like, college is so unbelievably reliable. You can learn other shit on the side.
Okay. It's unbelievably reliable for saxophone and for film school. Like we're two examples.
Not for
of how
sax.
it
Those are
fucking
two.
failed.
These are arts. It's way different there. But even for arts, going to school like that, bro. You ask any professional musician, like if you would have had the opportunity to go to Berklee School of Music, would you take it? They would tell you in a fucking heartbeat, bro. Some of these colleges, you are surrounded by the most talented motherfuckers in the world. You can learn so much amazing shit.
You want me to give you another
And
example?
those guys give you the best connections too.
They don't.
That.
My sister, for example, she went to Juilliard. She went to the best acting school in the world. She's like 26 right now, and it's very difficult to get an acting job. She's
What does she
worked-
do? Theater?
No, she's auditioning for movies. She's done theater too. She works, but she's not like
Okay,
you would think that. Oh, Juilliard. Let me finish my point. Juilliard, the best school in the world. All these connections. Robin Williams, this. All these people that go to Juilliard. She'd be the most famous actress ever. When that's not the case. You know what I think people should do? I think they should make the connections online. I think they should make a short film the way I did, post it on the YouTube channel, and maybe someone will see it, and investors will follow them. My friend Stacey Kane. My friend CZ Kane is now going to get a show on Hulu or HBO Go because he put in the work on YouTube, because he put himself out there. And if you want to be a slave to the system
wait a
and pay all
minute.
this
Your
money for
sister-
connections,
So
hold on.
your sister went to.
Muda, let him finish.
Yeah.
Let him
Okay,
finish.
yeah, no,
Let him finish.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so your sister went to Juilliard and she's going to acting, right? The thing we said earlier too is like just a little bit like 5 minutes ago. Going into acting, how many slots do you think exist to be like a big time actor, a superstar, right? Somebody that goes to university for like computer sciences, there's so many more slots in the field available for them, okay? So many places. That's what the stability is about, right? Somebody that goes to school for something that you have like a ton of career slots in, a lot of stability exists there. There's not a lot of stability to go into like shit like, acting or whatever. It's really a lot of luck that goes into it. That's I think the ultimate like point,
Yeah,
right?
same shit. Okay, thank you for interrupting me to say that simple shit. Same thing for saxophone, same thing for film school, same thing for all this. There's a very few slots, and it's better to go get that information online and work hard to go get it done. That's my point.
Okay, and my point is, it's like, okay, if you're going to go into those scenarios, right? Like, how many people do you think? How much is the success rate there? Like, if you give that shit to 1,000 fucking people, that information, hey, here's the information. Now become an actor. Do you think how many of those 1,000?
We've said this so many times in this art. Like,
how many of those 1,000 people become actors? Successful.
Most people will fail. I'm saying that. I'm saying that to people in my chat who are ambitious. Most people will fail. So you need to understand that. Understand why most people decide to be followers and stay in their safe space and work around that and become better than them. And if you don't, you will fail.
Now, if you told the same 1,000 people, hey, go to this university, get a solid, education, solid connections, then how many of those people will succeed versus 1,000 people you teach to become actors?
Depends
and
on
by
what
succeed, I mean
depends on what you consider succeeding. And also
they have a good life, they make a good paycheck.
a good life, but they gave up on their dream. They put the saxophone down. And see, I made this decision too when I dropped out. I wasn't making a lot of money for a long time. I was probably making $2,000 a month, but I was way happier making money doing comedy and doing YouTube videos. Like, I think a stand-up comedy dollar is worth $100.
Bro, hold on. I just want to be clear for the things you're saying. If you're making $2,000 a month doing stand-up, you're already part of the top 1% of fucking comedians. You're already like making
and that's
it.
what I'm saying. So my $2,000 a month, I thought was equal to somebody making $20K a month.
For sure. I agree with you. Yeah, that's amazing.
Job. So that's what I'm saying. So yes, you guys are saying, oh, happy life. Okay, you got to like wave in the neighborhood. Oh, honey, I'm home with your wife. Or you cannot give up your dream. And that's what I didn't do. I said from a young age, this is what I want to do. I would be unhappy if I gave up on my dream, which most people do. Like I said, the #1 coveted job in America is being a YouTuber, and then they drain it out of you and make you think the destiny ideology that you need to go clean carpets when you really want to be a YouTuber. That's the point.
If my kid wanted to be a YouTuber, I'd be like, listen, I would rather you make $20K a month having a stable career than $2K a month doing fuck all with your life.
Okay, a
That's
lot of people would choose safety, but I'm sick of
and
that.
then they would have
know
$18,000 a month less. So how are they going to be happier in the long term? What are they going to pay for?
I know the reason that I'm successful is because I know a lot of the people watching my stream, it's a nagging thought that they gave up. People don't want to live with regret. Like, yes, you have a stable life, but you still gave up on what you really wanted to do.
The issue is that like what you're talking about is like this is the most toxic aspect of the American dream that like destroys lives. And it's the idea that people need to be fucking superstars to be happy. It's like the worst takeaway, the most bastardized version of what it means to be successful in the United States. And like it ruins people's lives chasing this.
I'm not saying that you'll be unhappy doing that.
You're saying that like, oh, well, if you're not a superstar, you gave up. You're part of the cog. You're part of the system.
You did give up. You did. You gave up on your saxophone dream. You know you did.
All right.
Did you not?
It's not. It's just.
Look at it sitting in the back, man. You still got that little hope, that little dreamer. That little 18-year-old Destiny was like playing the saxophone.
Yeah, because we don't all have parents to carry us through like every part of life. Like we don't have mom and dad to pay our entire way while we're trying to figure our fucking careers out and shit. Like I'm sorry I didn't have that opportunity. That I was on my own since I was fucking 16 trying to figure out how to fucking survive. Like yeah, I didn't have the luxury of like trying to do some fucking art because I was making YouTube videos when I was 13, making thousands of dollars before I even fucking left the house. Like we don't all have those same opportunities. That's like the point that I'm trying to make to people, but it's hard to understand if you don't have that perspective.
I was working retail since 16. Well, at 16, I was like fucking.
You assume that I was rich on YouTube. Bro,
I'm not assuming that you're rich on YouTube, but like you're going home at 3 o'clock to make fucking YouTube videos and you're practicing for your future career at 14, and I'm staying after school for 3 hours every day doing janitorial work to pay for my fucking high school diploma. Like not everybody has the same opportunities in life, and then by the time you hit 18, 19, you can't just be like, oh shit, like, well, I just learned all of this shit in one fucking month. Like you didn't learn it in a month. Like people are preparing for their future careers by the time they're in 6th grade. Like you just don't realize it yet. You think you can just teach it in like 2 fucking months on like an internet course. The fact that you think that you can be a YouTube editor and be making like decent money by 1 month of education is crazy. Like you don't see how much work went into you getting to the place that you're at. You just see that like you succeeded and you think everybody can do it like relatively easily. It's not easy. It's a lifetime spent of work.
It's not a get rich quick scheme either, which you keep implying it is. That's not what it is.
1 month is quick. I know that you're young, but you're not that young, bro. 1 month to be a pro YouTube editor?
I mastered Adobe Premiere in 1 month. Facts.
Okay, did it?
I mastered it.
Mastered is a strong word. I think you became very functional to the point where you're very good at using it, but master is a different thing. I will say, I do agree with Sneako, and that people who have these dreams should give it a shot and should go for it.
100%,
yeah. It depends on the type of person you are.
I will also say, though, that oftentimes people who try to go and do these things realize that it's not what they actually want. There's the idea of being a YouTuber, which Sneako can understand, and then there's actually being a YouTuber, which is completely different, right? You guys know this from the back end, all the editing that you have to do, all the managing the channel, all the dealing with the comments, all the researching for the topics. Like once people realize what kind of labor is involved, a lot of them all of a sudden don't want to do it, which is why a lot of people flame out. They stop doing it very early on, or they'll switch career paths because they're like, I don't actually enjoy doing this. So having a dream and giving up on it isn't necessarily always a bad thing. Sometimes it's not what you actually want. Do you get what I'm trying to say, Sneako?
Yeah.
Do you agree with me on that? Because I know for me, originally I wanted to be a professional dancer. Moving out to LA, seeing what the industry was like and seeing what the professional dancing was like, I'm like, I actually don't want to do that. I hate doing this. This like professional world is actually trash. So for me, the pivot came from there. You can look at me, Sneako, and say I gave up on my dream, but the reality is, if I had pursued my dream the way that you're saying, like, keep going for it, it's like I would have been miserable.
You hung up your dancing
else.
shoes, dude. Fuck you.
Was that?
You hung up your dancing shoes. Fuck you.
Bro,
I still go out dancing every week, but for me, it's not for me. So that's the thing. The other thing
I picture you dancing, bro. I just that was the last thing I expected you
I
to say.
can picture him dancing, bro. Come on.
What, me? Oh, I'm fine.
Yeah,
Bro.
I can
I'm fine.
picture you dancing, bro.
Next time I'm in Miami, we'll go to a salsa club.
Ooh.
Bro, he's from Montreal. Those motherfuckers know how to dance up there. Let me tell you.
Yeah. But moving past that, earlier you mentioned Myron and how he did his pivot and then had his whole real estate thing going on. That's kind of helped him finance his life. Myron also was like a federal agent for some time, if I didn't fuck that up, and he worked at that office. One good thing that I say about schooling doesn't always come in the form of college. A lot of the greatest saxophone musicians, they got their education through church. They're part of huge choirs for many, many years, and they went on to be the best players in the world. I know for me personally, the military was like a very functional thing. Like when I was coming out of school, if I were to try to pursue my dreams, I'd probably be involved in just doing drugs every single day. Whereas because I went to the military, that kind of schooling and formation helped me develop some skills that are really good for me now in the artistic world. And Myron's pretty similar in that when you said this, Destiny, when you went to Fresh and Fit, right? Mm-hmm. You noticed how everything was organized, how on top of everything he was. He didn't get that because he was an 18-year-old decided he wanted to pursue his dreams. He got that from professional development in school and work. Do you get what I'm trying to say? By being part of the cog, he learned the skills necessary for him to be good at his independent shit. Am I crazy for saying that?
Yeah, and
I feel like you have to work a few years out of your life to get that structure in. The most successful people are structured. That's what you need in life. And college.
At 30, he finally found what he wanted to do, and he finally really followed his true calling. And I think it's dangerous for a lot of young men. And I think the reason that I'm doing well right now is because when they hear, like, you guys are all like 10 years older than me. When they hear people like you who are encouraging having a safe place and having like comfort and complacency, that's why a lot of people end up giving up. But we're all agreeing on the fact that it takes hard work. You need to go seek out the right information. You need to network. And so if they follow you guys, they're going to give up. And I think it's drilled out of us that we should give up too soon when you really can make it out. You can. I'm proof of it.
I don't disagree with you.
Bro, I think...
hold on. I don't disagree with you. So I actually agree with you. What I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of people who go through different journeys to get to that point. They can't just come out of college or come out of high school and then automatically jump into it. Some people don't have the skill set to be successful entrepreneurs. That is things that sometimes you need to develop for some folks in a condensed or like closed environment where you learn skill sets. You might be different in the sense that you are very self-taught. You can learn skills on your own. That's great. There's other people I know who need mentoring and need to learn these skills from other people on a hands-on. There's some folks who need to be disciplined. Like I know some rowdy niggas who listen, they need a closed space. They need to be in the military for a few years to get that shit beat out of them because there's no way that they're going to make it 2-3 years without going to jail. So what I'm trying to say is I don't disagree with what you're saying. People shouldn't give up on those dreams. I just don't think everyone has to take the same course. For some people, maybe it's 2 years in college. They make some friends, they learn a few skills, and then they go somewhere else. For some people, maybe it's 5 years in college. For some folks, it's 2 years being a federal agent. I don't know what the fuck it is. I guess my only disagreement with you is not in regards to going after your dreams. I don't like the fact that you kind of always pigeonhole it as like being formed is bad or school is bad. Like, why is that something that you're so focused on?
And so, just as a real quick question on that, I would be so curious, and I can honestly see him answering either way, but I'm curious if we could ask Myron, if you could have skipped being a Fed and gone right into like the YouTube shit, do you think that would have been better if you could have started earlier, assuming you don't know what you know now and like it just started, or if he thought that like the prior work experience helped him? I'm curious what he'd say to that. He could go either way. He might say that like it was a waste of time.
Myron's Fresh and Fit, yeah?
Fit, just one of them.
He wouldn't do it. He loved that job and he misses it. He liked the high intensity of it. I don't think he would ever take it back. Right. And I think I would say all rich people, all millionaires would not go change their life path because you need those experiences to appreciate where you're at. So it's not like you
appreciate. Sorry, go ahead.
Not just appreciate. Well, you're right. Not just appreciate, but also to learn the lessons and take the L's on the way there. Like all of it is part of a part of where you're at now.
Absolutely. Like the skills I learned. Like, listen, I would never go back to the military, but the limited time that I did spend in there taught me. Look, I didn't have any like mentoring growing up. So me going to the military, it was like a big slap in the face in a lot of ways, and I had to learn that how fucked up I was in a lot. And that afterwards helped me develop all the skill sets I need so that when I went into the arts world, I was ahead of a lot of other people because artists live chaotic lives with zero discipline. So I got ahead very quickly learning editing skills, learning music editing skills, learning how to film, doing all this stuff, because I was drilled into me how to be on top of things. So what I'm trying to say is that environment gave me the skills I needed to therefore become a great entrepreneur afterwards. Even the guy who runs what's the channel called? Value Entertainment. Dude's got like a net worth of like $200 million. You know what I'm talking about?
He just invited me to go on, yeah.
Okay, him. He was also what, Navy SEAL or some shit? He says that all the skills that he learned from that time in the military helped him transition afterwards into being the best entrepreneur he could be. Yeah. So this whole idea of immediately chasing your dreams, sometimes you're not even in the right mindset to even know what that's supposed to look like. Yeah. You get what I'm trying to say?